Hello! I'm making this video to show you how to draft because I know you've never done it before. So let's get started. So we're going to do the cube draft, this middle one, because it only costs 4,000 coins. Now if you look in the top left, it says this event is a phantom draft. That means that the cards that we pick here, they're not going to be added to the collection afterwards, but we get to play with them during this draft. In contrast, there's regular drafts, which you have to access by going, like, scrolling up here. And this would be where you have Premier Draft, Quick Drafts, things like that. So, like, even the Quick Drafts here. So that costs 5,000 coins. You do get to keep out of the 3 packs that you get, the cards you get, and then your rewards down here are based on how many wins you get. And so for the quick drafts, you don't get a lot of packs, but you get the gems, which is the premium currency. There's also the premier drafts, which I did one of these not too long ago. You get to keep the cards out of your packs again, and you also get gems, but you also get a lot of packs for winning. Right? So you could spend 10,000 coins, which you get for free for playing the game, and end up getting, if you win 4 times in a row, which is not unrealistic, you can get 6 packs. So, and that's 6,000 coins worth of packs right away. Plus you get gems, which is the premium currency. And see, 1,400 here, that's even enough to play in this again. Almost. Alright, so we'll just do this one, just to get an idea for what's going on. You click it, you gotta wait for 8 people to show up. Usually doesn't take very long, but alright, there it is already. So you hit ready, wait for everyone to fill up, and then you get started. Alright, here's our first pack. Now, if you do a regular set draft, there's not going to be nearly as many rares, right? There'll be like 1 rare, 3 uncommons, and then the rest will be commons. Since this is a cube draft, it's got a lot more rares, and that's why we don't get to keep the cards. And so basically, I'm looking for a card that's powerful, but also flexible, because maybe I get a better card in the next pack. I think, for right now, I like probably Glorybringer the best, because it's a giant flying dragon that can also kill small things. But I also think that Elspeth might be a good pick, because she can make tokens, and I can also play her out of my graveyard later. And I typically lean more towards white than red, but we'll go Glorybringer. Alright, next pack. So the person to my right, so if we look, here's a circle of everyone. The person to my right, the blue guy, and he passed me a pack. And I'm going slow, so I've got a lot of packs piling up. But, so eventually the pack that we just got done will travel around the circle and back to me. But we have to pick something here. Kolaghan's Command's interesting. I think I'm probably going to pick that one. It's got a lot of modes on it. I can get a creature from my graveyard to my hand. That's the nice one. I can blow up an artifact, which is sometimes helpful, and then 2 damage to any target. Also nice. And so now I'm pretty solid in red-black. So I'm kind of ignoring the other cards, even though Regrowth is a good card, right? And so are some of these blue cards. I automatically go to Chandra, because she's a red card and I'm playing red now, it looks like. Also, Terramorphic Expanse would probably be a good pick, because it fixes colors, but we'll pick Chandra. Alright, so here we're in red and black, and there's a vampire dragon. I kind of got wrecked to this like just a few minutes ago playing a game, so I kind of want to take it. So an issue that we're having now is if we look at the cards on our right, we're 3, 4, 4, 5. We want some cheaper stuff, but I don't think this is the pack where it's going to happen. Mizzix's Mastery is interesting. It can just straight up win you the game. It doesn't really... We could try to go Spell Slinger, like get some very crazy spell, find a way to put it in our graveyard, and then cast it with Mizzix's Mastery. I think that'd be real cool to do. We'll take Judith, just because we're in both of those colors. Lightning Axe lets us discard a card. So if we find a cool spell, we can discard it to the Lightning Axe, and then get it back with the Mizzix's Mastery. So there's nothing really here that's in our colors. So I'm going to move to the sideboard, and I'm going to pick this Cragcrown Pathway, just in case we find some green cards in the future that we really, really can't live without. We'll have an option for a land. Here we've got a land that's red and black, so we pick that, because otherwise we're going to be stuck with just basic lands, which is not always great. Dread Wanderer. He's got that effect that I can put him back on the battlefield from my graveyard if I'm out of cards in my hand. It doesn't seem like it'd be super good because he's just a 2/1 and he also can't block, but it's very, very useful. I'll put Chromatic Orrery in the sideboard. It's colorless, so we could maybe play it in the deck, but we really don't want to play a 7-drop. Demonic Pact, I don't like, so we're going to take Call of the Death Dweller. It lets us reanimate some small creatures, like our Dread Wanderer. If we go to the sideboard, we'll put the Direfleet Daredevil in there. He lets us play spells out of our opponent's graveyard. A Magmatic Channeler is fine, and then we'll put this into our sideboard. So we're forced to pick at the very end, right? Even though we're playing black and red, not green and blue, we have to take this card. So we keep it in the sideboard section, because we're probably not actually going to play with it. And then if we look here, so this land is red and black. That's an interesting card. Young Pyromancer. Very powerful card. It might not look like it because it's only an uncommon, but every time we cast a spell, we get a creature token. Bonecrusher Giant. Yeah, we'll take Bonecrusher Giant. Rekindling Phoenix. I didn't even know that was in here. When it dies, I get an elemental, and it lets me keep bringing this back over and over again. It's a 4/3 flyer. And I think that's kind of the theme of our deck, is big things that can fly, like our Vampire Dragon, and now this Phoenix. Sedgemoor Witch, also good. She's basically the same as Young Pyromancer. Whenever I cast her copy instant or sorcery, instead of an elemental, I get a pest. So so even though the cube is singleton, there's only one copy of each card. It's nice to have multiple cards that have the same type of effect. Here, maybe Shieldred's interesting. She lets us reanimate stuff, and she also has Swamp Walk, which will kill people. It means that if they're playing swamps, then she can't be blocked. So we're not playing white, so we can't use the flashback part of this, or maybe we could, but being able to reanimate something is nice, like that Shieldred. Okay, so nothing here is really good, so we go to the sideboard, and we did take the red-green land, so we'll take this black-green one, and now we keep an eye out for green cards that would actually be really good. Mayhem Devil deals with sacrificing things. That's not really what we're doing. I mean, Judith cares about stuff dying. Yeah, we don't really have a way to sacrifice, so instead we're just going to take this land, even though it comes in tapped. We'll take this land too. We want to make sure our mana is very good. especially because we've got some more expensive things. We want to make sure that once turn 5 comes around, we 100% guaranteed have 2 red mana for that Glorybringer. Probably here, take Birgi. Yeah, that's fine. Take Birgi. We'll take the Escape to the Wilds. If we go green, that'd be a really good card. Prophetic Prism, it draws us a card and it fixes our mana. What more could you want? We'll take Stitcher Supplier, because that kind of works with both of our ideas for the reanimating something big and also getting a spell in the graveyard. Alright, last pack. And so right now, there's a lot of interesting cards, but I think this one is good because she makes treasure tokens. So that gives us bonus mana, so we can do things like the overload cost on Mizzix's Mastery is very expensive. You look at the bottom, it's 8 mana. But there's also Glorybringer 5. 5 can be a bit of mana. And Shieldred's also 7 mana. It's a little ridiculous. So we'll take Captain Lannery Storm. Because even if she dies, she gives us 1 treasure. More than enough to help out. Oops. How many creatures do we have? We have 13 creatures. That's pretty decent. I'm kind of torn between Mire Triton and Mills cards. Get stuff in the graveyard like we want. And also Savai Triome. So it does the red and the black. It does white. We don't really care about that. But it can also cycle. We'll take the Mire Triton. It's got Death Touch. Okie dokie. Professor Onyx is perfect. Being a planeswalker is always nice. Her +1 will put cards into our graveyard. So that way we can reanimate them later. Her -3 can kill stuff. And she's also got that Magecraft kind of spell slinger support. Maybe Devil's Play? If it's not Devil's Play, then it's Gilded Lotus. And I don't really want to do Gilded Lotus. So Devil's Play's got flashback. So if we mill it with one of our cards, we can play it from our graveyard for that expensive cost. And it's a good finisher. Yeah, see, there's a Banefire, which does basically the same thing without the flashback. So we don't really want that. We've already got one of those effects. A Blood Mage can draw us a card, or make a pest, or host someone's graveyard. I think we'll take that and hope that this land comes back around. You know, I feel like if someone else was playing these colors, the same colors we are, that they would have taken some of the stuff now. Blood for Bones allows us to reanimate a creature by sacrificing a creature. And then Agadeem's Awakening allows us to return a creature. But we need to pump a bunch of mana into that if we want like Shieldred, so we'll get Blood for Bones. Ox of Agonos. We get to discard our hand and draw 3 cards. So if your hand's like almost empty, it doesn't matter, you'll still get to draw 3 cards. So I think this is a good one. And it can also be played out of your graveyard too, which is important. We'll just take the land here. I think probably Malakir Rebirth is fine. I don't know if we actually play it or not. Same goes for this Jaya's Immolating Inferno. Light up the stage is nice. Take this. I don't think we're playing green. The only like actually decent green card we took was Escape to the Wilds. We'll take this, I guess. It doesn't really matter, we take at this point. This is the last pack. These are like the last 2 cards. It's not going to change our plan at all. Ooh, actually, that's a nice card. The Valakut Awakening. We get a basically shuffle our hand into our deck and then draw. So if you end up with a whole bunch of lands or something. And then this makes us zombie tokens. I got a feeling we're going to need to make some cuts. Okay, so drafting is done. That took a little while. It says 15 minutes on the little timer on the side. And so if you look up here, it automatically puts basic lands in there, right? So you don't have to worry about counting it. You should have set, if you click on here, it'll show you the statistics for your deck. It says that there's 17 lands, and it also tells us the total number of cards. So it says 45 out of 40. We want to trim that down to exactly 40 if possible. If we look at our mana curve, it says our average is 3.2. So if I can get rid of like a card or two, it'd be nice. I mean, Chandra makes mana, so she's pretty decent. Judith, we don't really have a sacrifice theme going on, so I'll kick her out. Birgi. So Birgi likes you to cast a lot of spells, and then the backside does give you card advantage, but I don't know about that. Prophetic Prism, drawing us a card is basically all that does. We've got a lot of good lands, so if we're going to draw a card, might as well just not have the card in the deck. You know, same deal. How many creatures do we have? How many creatures? 14 still. I think the Magmatic Channeler, it's got the same kind of issue as the backside of Birgi. Where once you like exile cards from top of your deck, and then light up the stage also does that. All right, so pretty easy cut down to 40 cards. And so I think we're ready to play, so I hit done. And then now we can play our games. So if you play a game with your deck that you've made, and you're like, oh crap, this deck sucks, I wanted to try to change it, you can just click on the box, and maybe you light up the stage, you can just tap on it, put it back in. No, I don't really want it, so you click back. You know, same thing. Or say you really want to add the Chromatic Orrery. That's also fine. And it doesn't have to be exactly 40. So like I could throw in a Chromatic Orrery just for fun and have 41 cards. But if you want to win, having the fewest amount of cards possible is the best. So that way you see your stuff more frequently, more consistently. Alright, well that's it. Hopefully this didn't bore you too much. I would recommend trying if you get... This one was 4,000, and I think this one actually ends in like 20 hours, it says down here at the bottom right. So if you save up enough coins and join it, then you've got to get all your matches done before the timer comes out. Otherwise, you'll get kicked out, even if you could have maybe played more games. Alright, signing off.